Oh, hey. Oh, hang on a minute. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
What? Hey, that's better. Hey, hang on a minute. Who is that masked man?
I don't even know.
Batstat.
That's Statman?
Statman. Yeah.
How are you doing today? You got some
not bad. I've just had a massive pizza. So, yeah, if I disappear, I might not be a case of crashing. It might just be a case of I've actually crashed.
Actually crashing.
Actually crashing, I know. But yeah, no, I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? Have you been out fighting crime as usual?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like to let somebody steal my wallet every day before I start. So I have a good butt kicking lined up.
Excellent. It's a good way to start the day.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm just going to turn this ticker tape off because I start reading it over and over and over again. If anybody's watching this for the first time, there's a link down below. You can take you to my webpage. You can see the campaigns that I'm putting together. If you're interested, and please do give them a look. I'm never sure what links I put down below, whether it's to the webpage or to the campaign. Either one will be good. But I'm going to turn this off because it annoys me. There you go. And Pete's joined us this evening, Pete.
Hi, Pete.
And he's back from Fright Fest. We had a great time. Yeah.
Like it.
Watching lots of cool new horror movies.
Oh, it's like was that like a Sundance for horror movies sort of thing? You go and
yeah, kind of for like independent horrors, that kind of thing.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
I think it's run by Arrow. I think they sponsor it. And it's their show. They're a distributor, kind of like a niche kind of distributor for low budget horror and kind of like weird and wonderful films on Blu-ray.
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. Right, okay. Actually, here, no, yeah, he had a wee sleep in on Tuesday night. I didn't expect him. I thought he'd be crashing out after Fright Fest, but no, he turned up.
Wow.
So thanks for joining us, Pete. Right, well, let's do this then. This will be about an hour or so, I imagine, like a usual Thursday night, looking at something. And in this case, we're going to be looking at Batman. This Batman in particular. We're going to be looking at our thoughts and how we remember the Tim Burton Batman movies, both of which I've watched again recently. And I watched them in reverse order. I started with Batman Returns, and then I watched Batman. So, yeah, let's talk about this and see where it leads us. And say hello there to Hyper Kaiju.
Hey, Hyper Kaiju.
Am I saying that right? I never know. Yeah, I was the same. It'd been a while since I'd watched them, and so I gave them a watch, and yeah, we'll find out what I thought about them as we kind of talk about them here. Usually, I start by asking when you first saw these and in what order you saw them in.
These I watched. It's going to shock you now.
Yeah.
In order.
What?
This was the first movie that I remember going to in the theater.
Ah, brilliant.
years old.
Wow. You make me feel old.
I think I got taken to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but I don't remember going to that, although my brother insists that I was along for it. So this is the first one that I remember. This and like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were the first two movies I remember. Yeah, I remember everything. The gift shop that they'd set up with like the cards with the crappy bubble gum in them. And
yeah.
they just had this whole wing of like merchandise set up, this tiny little pop shop in the mall or in the theater back then. They don't do that now, but
no. Yeah, me too. I remember those cards because I never had the bubblegum cards because I never got them for this because I was too old. But I remember going to see Superman, the movie, and they had those cards. I collected all of them. I had them all.
There's tons of shirts and things like that in there. Like the companion. They always had the companion book to the movie you could buy. The comic book adaptation that Jerry Ordway did.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about that. Stuff was in there.
Yeah.
I'm older than all you guys, Pete. Quiet.
Oh, so old. Yeah. So we've got 1989, and we've got Batman, directed by Tim Burton, who had just had. Hey, Dave. All right, me babbers. Was that good? Was that a good accent, Dave?
Everybody says, "All right, me babbers."
All right, me babbers. Yeah, I don't know if that's good or not. Dave will tell us, don't worry. So Batman.
I think I sounded a bit too much like Jim Broadbent.
That's not bad. Jim Broadbent. Yeah.
Not even sure where he's from.
I'm not very good with accents. To be honest with you, I'm not very good at all with accents. But I can do Scottish pretty well, so I stick to it.
Good.
Yeah, find what you're good at and go with it. That's what I always say. Yeah. So what we're looking at here. Well, first, Dave, you need to answer him. What's a babber? Am I a babber?
Isn't that what you put on the end of your hook so that you can tell when the fish bites?
It'll do. It's our accents. It'll do. Cheers, Dave. Yeah. I thought Barbara was a baby, but there you go. I might be wrong. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Pete had remembers a hammer set. I don't remember that. I remember the Marvel ones. You get the Marvel stickers, and they had terrible puns on them. They were good. Yeah, because they had quite a lot of the horror ones. So I don't remember the hammer ones. Yeah.
It's all saying he's a Yankee. I'm right there with him.
Yeah.
I just flew in from US and boy, are my wings tired.
Hey. Damn Yankees. We'll do that one in our musical special. So there you go. It can mean babe, baby, mate. Yeah. All right, me babbers. It's something that I'm pretty sure Jack Nicholson hasn't said, but you never know.
All right, me babbers.
Give it a go. All right, I can do Jack Nicholson. I can do Scottish Jack Nicholson, but I can do Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson, if you were born in Scotland, and so I know my monkey.
All right, me babbers. Hey, monkeys. Yeah, you're probably wondering what the hell have I wandered into. This is Babber's Man.
Just go with it.
Babber's Man Returns.
Babber's Man Returns. I like it.
Yeah. I'm having trouble with Photoshop and making things move around here. But yeah, good to see you there, monkeys. So, yeah, 1989, Batman in the cinema. It was a huge event. It was a good year for pictures, 1989, actually. Loads of cool stuff. But this was a big movie of the year.
I remember Weird Al's UHF went up against this. Lethal Weapon 2, Indiana Jones 3.
Yeah, I mean, Lethal Weapon 2, arguably the best of the Lethal Weapon movies.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, because I remember seeing Lethal Weapon 2. I saw all these ones in cinema, even like License to Kill, the Bond one. They were all kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Yeah.
And Last Crusade as well, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. They were all out over that year. There was lots of other good stuff as well. It was a good year. But has this aged well? Let's find out.
Well, you have to end the 80s with a bang.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So ending the 80s with a bang. Tim Burton directed this, and I had seen his first movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is something of a classic, I think. We'll all agree.
Before or after Frankenweenie, the original one for Disney? No, that was after, wasn't it? Yeah,
that was one of his shorts, and that got him it was those shorts he did that got him the job directing the Pee-wee movie.
Yep.
So he directed that, and then he was working on Beetlejuice. But while he was working on Beetlejuice, he was also, or before Beetlejuice was out, he was also prepping Batman. So he was actually working on Batman before Beetlejuice was released. So the whole idea that he was bringing over Michael Keaton, a comedy actor, to play Batman, that was all cemented, and everybody was fine with that. And it was one of these things that if Beetlejuice had come out and flopped, then they might have changed their mind, because that's the way Hollywood works. They might have gone, this is maybe not a good idea. But Beetlejuice was a hit, so he just carried on and got to make the first Batman movie.
Which is, depending on what school of thought you went with, either a great thing or a not so good thing, because this movie gave him so dang much power to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, I guess.
And I mean, some people love it, but at the same time, like Tim Burton, when he goes full Burton, it can be really out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is an interesting one because I mean, Jack Nicholson was the big draw here. It's kind of like Superman, which was 1978. In order to get that made and push that the general public, they got Marlon Brando on board.
Oh, yeah.
So in this case, you get somebody like Jack Nicholson on board.
This is his favorite movie.
Yeah, you can tell that because I watched some of the extras afterwards. If the extras on the Blu-rays are taken for the old ones for the DVDs, and he's sitting there with his purple shirt, his black tank top, his wee Batman badge.
Well, he's a fan, but I mean, he got a piece of the the home video rights, which still extended the Blu-ray. He's still getting.
Oh yeah, he got a piece of the action with this. He's like, he was smiling all the way to the bank.
Oh yeah.
But I still think his Joker is brilliant. It's got bits. There's bits of it that you can see is taken from Cesar Romero as a wee homage with a laugh and some of the stuff he does.
Still playing great in other parts.
Yeah, and I think even when you watch Heath Ledger, you can see he's been influenced a little bit by the Jack Nicholson Joker. People don't talk about that, but I think watching this again, I'm like, yeah, there's no way anybody playing the Joker that's saying this can't be even subconsciously influenced just a little bit by it.
Well, what's his face? Jared Leto certainly wasn't. As a matter of fact, I feel like he was kind of looking more like Edward G. Robinson and stuff when he did his Joker.
Yeah, you get the feeling with him that he
was talking like this, you know.
Right enough. But I got the feeling that he just was playing a character who just looked like the Joker. That was it, you know. And I don't know how that was going to work out, but
he was trying to play a gangster, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But
which this character was a gangster, and he was it's just kind of Jack Nicholson dialed up to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hyperkaju's not a fan.
I think it wasn't. You know, it's tough because every once in a while he can pull out a decent performance, but this one, maybe it was just he got carte blanche and nobody told him no. Maybe that was the problem.
Are you talking about Leto?
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. But also, that much of him get cut out of it. We can't really judge him entirely.
Yeah, 2/3 of what he did got cut, but.
I'm being kind because you know how much I love the Snyderverse. But yeah, this is so Jack Nicholson was on board and as a Joker, and he pretty much takes over the film. But it's actually it's a good thing because he is good.
Kind of a Joker movie with Batman in the background.
It is.
Because Tim Burton obviously liked the Joker more.
Batman does he does make an impact on the movie though. So
sure.
You know, it was interesting because I watched him back to front. So I watched this after watching the sequel, and this is less of a Tim Burton movie, like you were saying. It's a little bit disjointed, although it's also more traditional.
Dictating a lot of shots on this.
Yeah, it's also more traditional in the way that it's done. It was interesting because it was Peter Gruber, I think, or John Peters, whoever, one of the producers was more involved in making sure the fight scenes were in there because Tim Burton's just not interested in action at all. No,
well, I mean, it's kind of tough when Batman can't move his neck.
Yeah.
No.
The whole idea of the suit, hang on, we'll bring him up, where you've got this old rubber piece at the top where you can't turn his head.
That's where the Batman snap was invented.
Yeah, but it makes for some interesting movements and stuff in it. I remember first seeing the trailer first on a late night TV show that showed it first over here. It was one of these entertainment shows that's, coming soon from America. Here's what you're going to be watching in 2 weeks' time, that kind of thing. And the first trailer was showed on that and been really quite impressed by it, because Jack Nicholson looked amazing and Batman didn't look bad. Right. I think everybody was worried Batman would look bad.
I think this is like the Frank Miller, like Dark Knight Returns. They were just so happy the character is getting kind of taken seriously versus Adam West, where he'd become far past a joke at that point. Yeah. We'll
talk about him in a minute, I think. Sure. I put these images up here because I like the whole concept of the Joker wearing makeup over his white face, which is actually the makeup, that he's got on.
Yeah.
And I really like that whole idea. And one of the images there, the one on the right, you can see he's got a purple bit in his neck because the makeup's splodged.
Yeah.
So that's
putting purple shoe polish on the coat.
Yep. So that's one of these things that you see. Is that that's.
You'd think they digitally removed that.
Yeah, you kind of wonder, but I hope they don't.
You
I
absolutely
like these things to
could.
stay. I like these things to stay in movies.
Sure. It's just a hickey.
Oh, let's talk about that. Then, Not My Monkey has to fast forward the museum scene with the dancing, etc. Here we go.
That is a funny thing where you've got multiple scenes where you showcase Jack Nicholson and the Joker. There aren't that many scenes where Batman gets a showcase, and slightly a few more where Bruce Wayne gets kind of a spot. Batman was like really third priority in this movie.
Yeah, but what this movie does get right is it has him as a presence, and that's pretty good. I think it's all down to Sam Hamm, who did most of the screenplay, maybe not the final one, but his input it was trying to keep it like a traditional Batman.
Well, it probably went through some doctoring.
Yeah, I don't know about too much. It was Warren Scarron came in. I think his was the final draft, but I think that was it. Really, it was Sam Hamm and Warren Scarron. Prior to this getting made, you had Tom Mankiewicz, who was the writer on Diamonds Are Forever and Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, and Superman the movie. So he was involved because they'd been spending 10 years to try and get this made before they eventually did get it made. And I think it was going through all different kinds of versions before they finally fell upon the one that they made. But they were always trying to make it a bit more serious and less campy. But I think watching this now, this really does have lots of nods back to the original TV show.
Oh yeah, well, all of them do, especially Batman and Robin.
Yeah, we're not going there.
Going there.
Not tonight. No, we'll do a special shoemaker. I'm sober. We'll do a shoemaker show when I'm drunk, and we'll talk about both of them. We may even go up. We have to sit and watch it and talk about it. We might do that with that.
Those two movies, I will say, you buy them, you watch the special features. Are so much more interesting than the movies.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I like this scene. I always thought the editing was slightly off and the sound was slightly off, but I watched it just a few nights ago and it's fine. It works okay. And I think the Prince song works perfectly in this sequence.
Having fun destroying stuff.
Yeah, and I love the idea that the one grotesque piece of artwork he kind of likes, so he doesn't have them deface it.
It looks like a night gallery painting for Rod Serling to pop out.
Yeah, so no, I do like it, but it did put me in mind of Pop Goes the Joker, which is a story in the original series, which has the Joker defacing artwork, but it also has a brilliant scene where the Joker enters a competition. I say brilliant. Enters a competition and he wins it. It's an art competition, and you have all these. It's taking the mickey out of modern art. It has all these people throwing paint about. One guy has a monkey do a painting, and the Joker doesn't touch the canvas at all, and he doesn't even say what the painting is about. He's not done anything, but the art critics are so pretentious that they see something deep in it, and he wins the competition.
The thing with these old, as campy as they are, the plot lines are usually pretty intricate. They're especially the Riddler ones.
Oh yeah,
they go in and out. Like Riddler's a hard character to write, and if you can pull off multiple stories with him, you got it locked. Yeah, so there's a lot of good writers who worked on those shows. But yeah, so that was because I've been watching the old '66 Batman on Blu-ray recently, and that jumped out at me. Yes, that was interesting. Right.
Vicky Vale. Yeah, I like
one of those cards.
Yeah, it's one of those cards. I put one in there. You can smell the bubblegum.
Stale.
With the bubblegum, you could either fold it or it just snapped. It was always one or the other.
Blow the powder off of it.
Yeah. Hey, Kev. Thanks for joining us.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, the guy at the beginning, I'm sure the actor at the beginning was, he was in a show over here called I've Made His Own Pet.
One of the robbers?
Yeah, it's one of these things where they make them at Pinewood or at Elstree. You see all these British actors with American accents in these movies, and so it's so obvious when we're watching them. You go, that was filmed over here, obviously.
That was the dudes that were like, there ain't no bat. I don't know, man. Johnny Fox got Rick to walk off a roof.
Yeah.
Still strung out. That was that one piece of animation as a little kid that struck out, or that really, like, it was out of place, but it was really cool. Like when Batman's watching over the city and he turns around and walks away, and it was all animated.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I watched it the other night. I thought that's so obvious, but it's nice.
It looked really cool, but it was so out of place.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. And even with the way the cape moves and everything, doesn't fit in at all with the rest of
No.
it in the movie.
But it's memorable.
It is memorable. I quite liked it. I liked the fact that Vicky Vale was in here as a love interest because I liked the
kind of his Lois Lane.
And the Steve Englehart, Marshall Rogers issues had her. I think she was involved in them as well, wasn't she? No, she wasn't. It was the lassie with the white hair. But I kind of liked the idea that they'd brought in Vicky Vale. But she was very much a last minute replacement. Kim Basinger. She wasn't supposed to be playing the part.
Right.
And I think when you know that, you kind of go, okay.
Kind of like his Margot Lane.
Yeah, she's done a pretty good job. And a lot of the scenes, even the scene where Alfred brings her out of the Batcave, was all kind of like made up just to get the movie done and get it out there and make it coherent, because they were fighting against time and trying to get it sorted.
Oh, what a great line! I got to go to work.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think about Mr. Mom being Bruce Wayne / Batman?
I didn't mind, because he always seemed to me to be a good actor, and I'd seen Beetlejuice, and I figured if you can pull that off.
Well, I mean, originally when it was like, because I know there was a backlash.
Yeah, no, it didn't bother me at all. No, it didn't bother me at all.
No.
Especially once you saw the suit, you kind of went, well, hey, I can believe that. Yeah.
Okay, now, here's another question, since I'm all on the question train.
Okay. They get a prize if I get it right.
You'll get a nod, though you won't see it. No, there's a debate. No, it's more of an opinion. There's a debate on the correct way to play Bruce Wayne. Is he a arrogant type, like, I'm running a company, you're going to do what I say, like Christian Bale, or is he this like shy, unassuming guy, so you don't kind of believe that he's the Dark Knight? You know, like he walks in and it's the scene in here, his introduction when he's all like, "You're Bruce Wayne?" Oh, most of the time, or no, when he's talking about the the statue. That's from Japan. It's Japanese. How do you know? Because I bought it in Japan.
Yeah, I think both work. I think the way that Keaton did it was slightly different to the way it's ever really been done in the comics. And I like that, because what he did was he completely separated the persona insofar as it wasn't a different person. He still felt that he was the same person, whether he was Batman or Bruce Wayne, but he managed to separate it in the way that he acted the part, so you could feel as if there were two separate characters in the world.
So you feel like this was a guy wearing a mask versus Christian Bale's a mask wearing a guy.
Yeah. I think when Christian Bale does Bruce Wayne, he does him two ways. He does him like either like he's invested him with a little bit of Batman, but for the most part, that's only the scenes where he's talking to people like Alfred or anybody that maybe, like Morgan Freeman or that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Then there's the public like, "Hi, I'm an idiot."
Yeah, but I quite like that because he plays that so well, and they don't overdo it.
Sure.
I think if I was to choose, I think having watched the Burton movies again, I think I would say Keaton is better.
Okay.
His approach is better. I think so. Yeah, I like this whole unassuming thing. It's almost like he has all this money and all this power, but nobody even knows who he is when he's walking through the room.
Right, which is kind of a weird thing where you think his picture would have been all over the place, let alone from a reporter.
Yeah, you would think so, but also it's that idea that he must kind of go out of his way just not to be photographed, you know.
Maybe, yeah.
So again, because they're maybe trying to think about, well, how could anybody not know he's Batman? And they do this kind of thing where he's got such a distinctive jawline that we suspend our disbelief normally in these movies and kind of go, yeah, he's got a mask on, so there's no him. But they don't do that here. They do things like making sure he's always in shadows, or he shines a light on her face so she can't work it out, all that kind of stuff. So I think they were definitely going for this whole idea of separating the two.
I like how the opening scene showed just how much Alfred does. He's sitting there, Bruce is just looking around and he's putting champagne glasses wherever, and Alfred rushes up to grab it before it falls. And Just got to clean him up after Missy goes.
Yeah, Michael Gough is really good, or Guy Gough is really good in it.
I thought it was Go.
Michael Gough, Michael Gough.
Either way.
I would have Keaton directed by Nolan.
I think he's already shot his stuff for the next Flashpoint movie. Or is shooting it, because he said that it was just weird how normal it was to put the cowl on again.
That's weird. I know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not.
I know. He's just afraid they're going to just ruin it.
So this Sean Young, she was originally cast as Vicky Vale, and then she fell off a horse.
Like
there you go.
Knee.
That's what happens. Yeah, and then we'll come back to her when we talk about Batman Returns, because she doesn't disappear. But now this is a divisive thing about this movie, but you know, my monkey's already probably kind of like touched upon it. Prince.
That's a great string. He made it memorable. I guarantee you more people know Prince from Batman than Queen from Highlander.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. This is one of these cases where he's under contract with Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, somebody says, you know, if we get him in there to do some songs, because it was the 80s, remember, 80s always had to have songs in the movies, or a terrible song at the end if they were in the movies. Yeah, so this was kind of different because they went to Prince to get some stuff, and he just wrote an entire album because it's Prince and that's what he does, you know. So
done in the weekend.
Yeah, and it's a good album as well. It's underrated. I think people kind of don't think about it too much because it's a movie tie-in, but it's a good album. So yeah, his song as well was very much inspired by old school Batman as well as what the movie was doing. So I think people were a bit not sure what they were going to get when they went to see the movie.
Sure. I think it's the music videos that trip people up because that's insanity. Well, half Batman, half Joker's running around. Bruce Wayne's up there playing a guitar solo and a keyboard solo up at the Bat thing. But yeah, you'll never forget him when you see him, that's for sure. And as an entertainer, that shows he knew what he was doing. Yeah,
well, I think it works. I think it works really well. I think some of the songs work really well thematically in the movie too. When you get little snippets of them. But I was a huge Prince fan at the time, so I was quite happy that he was there. Danny Elfman's music, of course, with the Batman theme is brilliant.
Oh yeah, of course, it reminds me a little bit. I mean, like if you listen to Beetlejuice and Tales from the Crypt, all very similar.
Yeah. We knew what you meant there, Monkeys, Mad Hatter. She could have played the Mad Hatter. Yeah, he's got a style, especially when you watch, what's the one with Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely got a sound and a style to his stuff. But yeah, I like the Prince stuff. Party Man, yeah.
Well, they didn't have an album like this. I mean, no, that's not true. Batman Returns had like 2 songs on it, and the rest of it was score. And then for the latter 2, they went full on like, let's get all the biggest people
God, they were awful. Yeah,
in that we can, flavor of the month kind of soundtrack.
Yeah, I've got some images here. I probably should have brought them up when we're talking about him as Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Sure.
But it struck me that they always had him because he uses a gun to fire his cable to climb and swing and stuff like that. Yep. They always used the image of him like that. This and the other movie in the advertising. I think it's because it's the short-sightedness of advertising, man. It looks like he's just using a gun, like a Bond or any other kind of character. So that's kind of like they always did. They always used that. I'm going to quickly.
It was a rush job.
There you go. I like the yellow teeth.
I should have done Bob.
Bob, I don't have any images of Bob, do I?
Oh, you did. Yeah, he was going to slash the painting.
Oh, right, way back. Jack Hart.
Because he is the number one. A guy.
There he is, yep. Number one. I loved the Jack Palance was in this, playing his part over the top.
Oh, yeah, he hated Burton.
Yeah, well, I think he hated everybody.
Very possible.
But yeah, he wasn't a fan of Tim Burton. He's probably not his kind of guy.
Of course, it was Burton's first big special effects movie, so I imagine there was a little bit of a learning curve.
another thing, when you watch this now, it's so evident. It's like it's still old school, still all model shots and physical effects, and some of them, even though they're obvious today, they're really good and impressive to watch.
This must have been a much bigger undertaking than Pee-wee. Like, my goodness, you go from little skits with Pee-wee to exploding an entire chemical factory, and
yeah, it's nuts. But I suppose with Beetlejuice, the stuff in there, Beetlejuice,
that was really small too.
Yeah,
for the most part. Some of the bigger special effects were stop animation and stuff, which he was pretty well versed in that already.
Yeah, this has got like, if there's one thing, I'm going to bring up this first image again. The poster was great because they used just the bat symbol. And I remember the initial one that they brought out, the poster they had the date, June 17th or whatever, and it didn't have any kind of text. It was just the bat symbol.
That's all you need.
It was great. Up on the side of the bus, you saw that and you went, "Oh, Batman!" But I always wondered why the bat symbol they used for the bat suit was different than the bat symbol.
Oh, you mean with that, like those weird little...
Just the weird little bits at the bottom. I mean, it's still good. It's good. It works, but...
It's probably, I think, my theory, that's really recognizable to the public. And that symbol would maybe separate it, from, how they like to compartmentalize things so that they can mark the movie or the comics or the cartoons or whatever like that. That's very much the movie, that symbol.
Yeah, they overthink it, I think. I think maybe just the designer has to put their spin on it as well.
Yeah.
It's got a more gothic feel to it, more of a gothic horror feel to it. So I do like it, but I just kind of, Yeah. But they rectify that in the sequel.
But at the same time, when you look at it, like anybody that's seen these movies, any Batman fan just looks at that and goes, "Oh, Batman '89."
Yeah, pretty much.
So it did its job.
It did indeed. You mentioned this already, the Dennis O'Neil and Jerry Ordway adaptation. It's really good. It's really good. It came out in different formats as well.
I'm not sure if they did one for Batman and Robin. Like, I know they had novelizations and stuff, but I know they did one for this, the next one, and then Batman Forever. I've got all of those. Yeah.
I've only got this one. I got the Prestige format one, but you could also just buy it as a newsprint one on the newsstands as well.
I miss movie tie-ins.
Yeah,
the last
were great.
One I remember getting was like Predators. Dark Horse. That's it.
Yeah. That's that's Jerry Ordway's artwork, which is amazing. I mean, you just see just the original artwork.
Yeah. Well, it was flat coloring, so it didn't take away from it too much.
Yeah, there was a real kind of... They were in sync with DC Comics as well, because here we've got Detective Comics that did a 3-issue run called Blind Justice, a storyline written by Sam Hamm, the screenwriter of the movie. So they had that going, and also I remember some of the architectural designs from the movie started to work their way into the comics. It began to look like the comics began to look like Batman '89's world, which is something that has always happened. Way back to Superman taking ideas for the cartoon and for the radio show and all that kind of stuff. So it's quite interesting to be there reading, the comics at the time and seeing the movie. I don't have any slides here, but of course this also led on to the creation of Batman the Animated Series. Of this movie was very much the catalyst for them getting that on the go.
Yeah,
Here's a good question.
I figured they couldn't afford him.
Yeah, I think they need to pay him decent wages to do that.
Because I think those Batman '89 and Superman '76 or 78 were digital, and they just collected them. They're like single screen digital issues, and then they just collect them physical. So they were smaller artists. I think Joe Quinn did one, and maybe
I don't know who else is doing it, but they're fairly decent at aping the style. But it's not that good. Look at that, it's amazing. So this is Batman '89. You saw it before the sequel, which was a first, I think, for this show. I don't think you've ever seen the original first movie.
This is it's almost like a cross section of comic book gold. And
it is indeed.
Hey.
Oh, hey, what's that?
And then you go full Burton.
but I know I just go full Burton. That's me. So yeah, this is an odd one. So you'll have been about a couple of years older when you saw this one.
Yep. Well, I saw this one on VHS when it
All
came
right.
out that Christmas. That you must have been 93. I think it came out, what, 92? Somewhere around there.
Yep. This was much anticipated
Mm-hmm.
and highly controversial when it came out.
In the summer, a Christmas movie in the summer.
Christmas movie in the summer. A very dark Christmas movie.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I watched this. We watched it just a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoyed it.
It works better when you watch it during the Christmas season, sometime between November and December, I think.
This is not so much a Batman movie as just like you were saying earlier. This is just a full-on Tim Burton movie, and he's not really that interested in Batman's world. He's just interested in freaks.
That's what got him to make the movie. They told him, you can do whatever you want. Otherwise, he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers sure was.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. They wanted the Penguin. They wanted the Catwoman, wasn't it? Or was it the Penguin? It was one of them, and then Burton wanted. I think he probably wanted. No, they wanted the Penguin because he's always been popular since his TV show.
Yeah, he was the most popular.
Yeah, with Burgess Meredith. So, and I think when he could get Catwoman in there as well, he realised he could play around with all these freakish characters.
All animal based.
Yeah, he also got in the best villain of the film, I think, which is Max Schreck with Christopher Walken.
Oh yes.
So they say that the villains are the Penguin and Catwoman, but he's a much better villain.
He was great,
and he underplays the part as well. He's at least for him.
It's probably closer to his View to a Kill character.
Yeah, it's
the other character.
It's like if his View to a Kill character was in a good movie.
He kind of survived and went to Gotham.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe a good link. But maybe we should let's link them together as movies. It's the same person. He survived his fall. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, anybody that can play a scene with the fish where he's luring the penguin with that fish.
Yeah. They did some weird stuff in this movie. I'm not
going to. They did.
Catwoman, and she wanted to eat a bird. And
yeah, but it's such a cool wee scene. She puts the bird in her mouth and then it flies out, and it's like, it's all really good. I like all that stuff.
Oh yeah, like as a Tim Burton movie, it's great. As a Batman movie, it's lousy.
Yep. That's not my monkey's review of Michelle Pfeiffer. You can't really argue with that.
Top drawer babe. Yeah. Yeah, this was right around like what was her height? I'm guessing, right? Wouldn't you say? Around Wolf, Dangerous Minds.
Yeah.
Dude, that was really big around this time. Like this was her early 90s was her time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Christopher Walken, I don't think he hasn't had a knot time since Deer Slayer.
I'm going to bring up the penguin here. Here he is. Right.
Cool shot though. Look at that. That looks.
It's terrific.
Visually, it looks great.
I think I don't know. I think a lot of people couldn't get their head around this film at the time because it's almost like it's asking you to feel sympathy for this poor character. I don't think it is in any way.
It was a ruse the entire time.
Yeah, it's like, but I think people even to this day think, oh, it's trying to do that. It's like, no, it's not. It's like this. It's been a big con for day one with this character.
Yeah, he had to go and play a con.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you get this great imagery and you get the idea that you could have some kind of pathos, with the character story, but it's not really there. And I don't think it was ever meant to be there. I think it was a very cynical approach to the character, and not in a bad way. It was like knowingly cynical.
It's kind of before he was established as like Gotham's leading arms dealer too. So
yeah,
they didn't really. I think it is. Yeah, I want to say it is because there's no Iceberg Lounge or anything like that yet.
Yeah, and this was without a doubt. I mean, it was like how disgusting can we make him? And
I know.
managed. Yeah, just a few of the moments. He just bites the guy's nose at one point.
Yeah.
And was he says something about all the blood spurting out your nose, and the guy's like, "What?" And then he bites it.
Yeah, exactly. My nose could be gushing blood. Huh?
Yeah. It's quickly followed up by sexual double entendres.
Yeah.
This is not a movie for kids.
I gotta wonder what it is like to be Tim Burton when they were like begging him to make a movie, and then he makes a movie, and they're like, "Thanks a lot for killing the franchise." Because I'd say this one almost shut everything. This one almost killed the Batman stuff.
Yeah, but that's because they were, well, on the back of the first movie, there was loads of merchandise, and there was loads of McDonald's and everybody getting on board, and there's a comic book version that came out of that with Batman Returns. You could get your Batcave Command Center with your toys and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I think with this one they learned, and especially with, I want to say financially, we're talking with merchandise and everything, Batman and Robin was the most successful because, they put so much merchandise into that movie. Just like this one here, they had tie-ins to everything, and it didn't really matter how the movie did because they were going to capitalize on that hype.
Yeah, but I don't think the licensees were particularly happy. McDonald's and that were particularly happy.
Those cups. The collective cups. Yeah. No, burgers never looked like that, but
yeah, they've never been that fat. What are they thinking of? Yeah, but yeah, she is.
But that toy line that they released with Batman Returns is like legendary in terms of changing how they made toys. They had like 15 different like Batmans with like Arctic Batman and Jungle Batman, and like that's one of the first ones to really do it like that.
Yep.
That wasn't G.I. Joe.
Bat Burger and Bat Fries. Yeah. So Catwoman. First of all, the main criticism of this movie is it's based around the villains, and it doesn't center too much on Batman. What's your take?
The first one.
Yeah, what's your take on that? Because to me, that's the same as the first one.
Well, it's a tough go because I mean, the way they play Batman here, having him around really diminishes because he doesn't. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, like he lumbers around and most of the work's done with Bruce Wayne for these movies and how they do it. The villains they're allowed to have a personality. At the same time, they kind of throw out in both of these movies, they almost throw out the supporting cast.
Yeah, I really noticed that this time watching them backwards, watching them, Pat Hingle, Billy D. Williams doesn't even get in this
They were
movie.
glorified cameos, almost all of them.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't bother me too much that they've done that, but when you watch the first one, you go, they're building a world here.
Yep.
And then the second one says, nah.
Which is why I always say, and I know a lot of people, this is like super controversial, I like these movies. I don't like them as Batman movies. I really don't, because they just kind of throw everything out and just, it's a world unto it. If it were an Elseworld, it would almost work. But I mean, there's zero detective work. He manages to scratch a CD like a record.
Yeah, it does a bit more in the first movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they did have the one scene in the first movie where he was explaining how the chemicals worked, indicating that he did some homework. But he didn't. That was kind of gone here. The whole murdering thing's completely out, especially when you shove that. Unless you want to play semantics, like I didn't kill that guy. The dynamite I placed in his pants did.
Yeah,
I didn't do that. I didn't kill the Joker. The Fall did.
Yeah, I'm looking. Where we go? Yep, here we go. The many victims of Batman.
Oh, that was a great. It's that's not a knife moment with that devil.
Yeah. They're wise guys.
Hey, wise guys.
Yeah, he kills people left, right, and centre here. In the first movie, he goes out of his way not to kill people, with the exception of blowing up the chemical plant with all the people in it.
What Tim Burton does, I think, better than any other Gotham or any other movie, and I mean, I know Joel Schumacher kind of tried to do, but Tim Burton produced the third movie anyway. So, but he does a great job of making Gotham City a character as well.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like when you look at the Nolan films, it's Chicago. There's no other. There's a couple of like Gotham-y things put in there, but for the most part, it's just a regular old city. Yeah. And like this is supposed to look dark, and it's supposed to look gothic, and like kind of it's a scary city to live in. And then you look at Metropolis; it's futuristic and crowded and bright and sunny, and they're characters like any really good setting. And he does a really great job at that.
No, definitely does. Yeah.
I think that's probably from the animation background.
Yeah, I think
stuff because
trying to get that 1940s feel to it as well, or 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is more of a 1920s German expressionist feel that he's bringing to it.
Really like the Art Deco, which works with Batman. Works really well.
Well, Monkeys is not a big Burton fan. That's fine. You're a big Michelle Pfeiffer fan. That's that's good enough.
I think he's Burton's. He's got a very specific style, and he tends to throw all the ideas at the wall.
Yeah,
and hope they work. And so I think I like him, but I think he's hit and miss. Some movies he's done, I just go, what? No.
Yeah, no, I've got. I mean, I look at these as I quite like that. But then again, it was a 3D that won me over.
Oh, of course it was.
I'm a sucker for the 3D. But I know I accept these as Batman movies because we've had so many different versions of Batman, and I mean I'm a big fan of the Brave and the Bold Batman.
Punisher's got the same problem, and
that's wildly. Sometimes is wildly different from one to the next in the Brave and the Bold comics.
Oh yeah.
It's depending on what they needed him to do for the plot.
So in the comics, Dick Sprang versus Frank Miller.
Yeah,
jarring.
Totally. So it doesn't really bother me too much. It doesn't bother me too much that he kills in these either. It bothers me in the Snyder films because it's not so much that he kills, but he's got a bigger kill count than Rambo. That kind of bothers me. But I for this movie here, the one thing that I really liked that they improved upon was the costume. Do you have a preference for the costumes
between this and the other one?
Yeah.
This one, the armor looks. You know what? I think this is like a precursor to the armor Batman we got now.
I think so.
But the other one, it looks more like a guy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of holds that legend up. Like, look, I could see it was a guy, not terribly great at night, but I could see it was a guy. We shot him. The other one, it's very clear he's wearing body armor. Yeah,
well, because I've got that scene in this when they go over and they touch him and they go, "Hey, this isn't,
He's got some kind of body armor on."
What? Yeah. I think I prefer I just prefer the cowl and everything in the second one. I think streamlined
definitely. They had more money to play with. The cowl in the second one's much more sleek, for sure.
Yep, definitely.
It's that chest plate or the breast or the stomach plate that really looks different.
Yeah.
He's chiseled out them abs to the point where they're just like straight blocks.
I didn't put any images of the full thing up. Typical.
Right.
I like. I just like that photograph. I could keep using that. This is the first of the superhero movies which, at the end, he pulls his mask off to show himself to.
You can see that mascara's gone.
Yeah, so he just pulls it off. And it's like and has a conversation where he's trying to sort of like make sense with Catwoman, and get her to not kill Max Schreck. Is the best. I think one of the best lines in the movie is like where Christopher Walken looks at him after he's peeled the mask off, and he goes, "Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up as Batman?" It's the way he delivers the line much better than I did.
It's kind of a weird decision to make her a supernatural bad guy when she never has been. Period.
No, but I liked it. I thought they did it really well.
Mm-hmm.
The whole sequence with you as the cats come around her and start nibbling on her fingers, and it's almost like they bring her back to life again.
Twitching and stuff, and
yeah, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But in the Tim Burton world, it's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, because they went full Tim Burton.
Yeah, it was goofy. It was goofy, but they saved it with the humor.
No, you just let her kill him.
Keaton looks like me when I get my barbell. That's definitely. But so, out of these two movies, I mean, do you have a preference?
I probably prefer the first one, except for I do like the city in the second one with like the statues, and the winter. The winter setting looks great.
Yeah.
Overall world of the second one, but just most everything else in the third one. I like a good mob story for Batman. Yep. I mean, it fits perfectly. So,
I think the second one, I like the Penguin the more the time that I watch it. There's a lot more happening with Danny DeVito than you think with that character, and I've always liked the Catwoman character in it. I think they did Catwoman brilliantly. I think though that the first film has Jack Nicholson, and that makes a big difference.
There is one thing that really bugged me about Batman Returns. It's a silly thing that they did to just set up this really cool shot. It's the fact that that Bruce Wayne has giant Batman ornaments all over his mansion. You know the scene when the Batman, and then it all reflected and it went in his window, and he stood up and looked at it, and there's the big bat symbol in the back, and he's looking triumphantly at the window, or like determined at the window. It's a really cool shot, but it still doesn't explain the fact that he's got a bunch of like satellite dishes with Batman all over his roof. It bugged the crap out of me.
Yep, I know what you mean. Yeah. Again, I think with the second one, it was a case of like, this is Tim Burton's world. This is
yeah.
It's
just one of those things where somebody comes over to his mansion for something, and it's like, hey, what is that on your?
Yeah, I like the whole retro thing as well. It's like they can decide just how far to go with technology, and so it always makes for a better story if people don't have, if the technology is not like it is today,
They strip their technology back and they push his a bit further. Makes it
yeah. So I think that worked really well. But I was surprised how well they stood up to being watched again. I think they're not action movies either. I mean, there's action in the first one, and there's kind of action in the second one, but not much.
You're ignoring how big those pallbearer penguins were at the end.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, in high def, you can see the seams as well for the suits.
6 feet tall, pushing them.
Yeah, so what? Yeah, what was that with the penguins? What was that all about?
I don't know. I mean, I understand that those little penguins, obviously weren't able to do that, and it was like another one of those kind of cool shots where like they were bringing their leader, their dad, to sea or whatever. But it was just such a funny thing with these like 6 foot tall penguins.
Yeah,
pushing him when the rest of them were like 2.5, 3 foot, if that.
Yeah, and Batman's just kind of watching it like what is going on here?
Oh, there was that one line they had. I want to say they cut it out of certain things when he grabbed the wrong umbrella. And he just curses and shit, it's the wrong one or something like that, and then he just dies.
Yeah. That's
a really adult line.
Yeah, I can't remember now. There's loads of lines in it because it's a PG-13, and it really pushes PG-13. I think if this was not a big studio movie, it would have been given an R that had to cut stuff back, I think. And it's not because it's incredibly violent or anything like that, but even just the scene where he bites his nose, that would be enough for them to say, trim that or something. So they actually really did push. Not compared to today, you can get away with murder in a PG-13, but for then this was like, oh wow, because people were taking their kids to see this, and it's not a kids movie.
No, which I mean, it didn't stop me, but
no, not at all. a year 4 years old.
No, that's probably this came out in '89. It says 5, 6,
5, 6. Yeah,
7,
that's it.
6 or 7, probably
it.
around there. Maybe 8
Yeah.
when it came out on VHS because they used to take about a year.
Yeah.
Between,
Ban this bat filth. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any movie that we went. Well, Billy D. Williams, I mentioned him. He was been set up to be the Two-Face.
He's supposed to be in the third one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still really was. I mean, as much as like Tommy Lee Jones, that should have been Billy D. Williams.
Because I think they were looking at him and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
But then they used Robin Williams just to get Jim Carrey to sign on, kind of thing. Just, oh no, it was they were going to give it to Robin Williams, and they said Jim Carrey. Then that's why he got really mad at them. There was a whole huge thing with it. I remember that third one was a mess.
Yeah, the comedy wars.
Mm.
Yeah. I haven't seen that in years, so we're going to have to do them at some point in the future so I can watch it.
Oh man, you're gonna have to like really buckle yourself down. It's a tough one to. I mean, that's the problem. I guess there was a big script overhaul from Akiva Goldsman, so there's a really good movie under there. From what I understand, the original.
Well,
really
you know, Robin was supposed to be in Batman Returns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they just couldn't make it work.
And then they were gonna make Marlon Wayans for the third one, and then
Yeah.
You got Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah.
That's another time.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to revisit. Like I say, not sober, I don't think. But yeah, so I think that's us covered. Batman and Batman Returns, at least our recollections and so on. I'm well chuffed that I enjoyed them as much as I did.
Yeah, they hold entertainment-wise, they hold up pretty well.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Of course, that could be a little bit of nostalgia for us. That's a hard thing to navigate sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the nostalgia there, but just remember some of the movies I watched that I'm nostalgic about that are nowhere up to the level of this.
Right.
But yeah, we'll be covering some of them next month when it's October. But yeah, I like both of these films. I think if I had to make a hard choice, the first one I'd probably Jack Nicholson. Yeah, Jack Nicholson wins it for me. I mean, yeah, and Prince. Yeah. So yeah, cool. Right, chat. I don't know if you've got any thoughts. We've got. Okay, that's cool. So it looks like Marlon Wayans has been set up for the Robin in the Batman '89 book. Right. So they're obviously they're just ignoring the sequels beyond.
Yeah, because they got Billy D. Williams as Two-Face in that book, so they couldn't. If they didn't ignore that, it'd be Tommy Lee Jones.
Here's a request: can we do a whole show in Persis Combata at some point? I'm up for that because I could do 3 hours in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which is as long as Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Okay, I was like, who is? But yes, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Nighthawks.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. You know what? That's not a bad call. Who else is doing a Persis Combata show? Let's be honest. Cheers, monkeys. Yeah, expect that sometime in November. Okay, I think that's it because we're kind of scheduled up for October. So yeah, definitely the first Wullie and Statto at the movies with Persis Combata. That's we'll call it that. That'll be the major league.
So is that higher or lower than a top shelf? I'm having a hard time with the ranking system.
Yeah, the ranking. We'll need to reacquaint ourselves with the ranking system because we'll be doing the full moon stuff soon. Finally get to the full moon stuff.
That's okay. You don't need to be a huge Bat fan.
No, you don't need to be. No, you don't need to be. I would say, Pete, the second one's probably more the one you want to be given a watch. It's more the kind of
horror movie.
It's more the horror fan sort of like the stuff in that you watch. You get loads of references that you'll be picking up on, visual ones and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just going to watch one of them, I say keep that one aside for a couple of months and make it one of your Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. We're not live next Thursday. Next Thursday we have a super cut of the episode that Lucifer and I did with Ash and Jackal. So it's going to be, I think it's over half an hour, this supercut, so it's a good solid one. It's us talking about the Evil Dead, and I've edited it all down, and we'll be premiering that next Thursday. So join us in the chat for that, because it's amazing, because you forgot what you said in the original live stream, and then you watch these and you go, oh, that's quite interesting.
Interesting point, Wullie.
Yeah.
That's right. You're sitting there patting yourself on the back.
I know, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm in charge of the editing, so I can edit all Lucifer stuff out. It's just me, sounds as if I know. Talking about, no, it doesn't. It's mostly Lucifer talking about what he knows what he's talking about. But the week after that, we're also get another super cut, which is going to be Alien 3. Now you guys probably don't even remember that live stream. It was that long ago. But yeah, we'll get the Alien 3 super cut coming up soon as well. But you can catch me live on Tuesday again. And if Statto's around, or if Lucifer's around, they'll jump on as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of just do another wee draw or colouring stream on Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. We'll be ending the month, rounding the month off with the Daniel Craig Bonds. So starting this weekend, I'm going to start working my way through the Daniel Craig Bonds again.
God be with you.
You know. I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
Yeah.
To see if your opinions changed?
Yeah, I think so. Just to see what I think, especially for Skyfall. It'd be good if I can make it 10 minutes into Quantum of Solace without having a seizure. That'll be a first.
Well, hey, no, wait a minute now. It's an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know, but the first 10 minutes is like...
It makes your criteria, Willie.
Oh, I know. It makes my criteria, but it's got enough edits if you were to elongate the scenes, it would last 3.5 hours.
Well, that's because they were trying to be Jason Bourne in that movie, and it was in the middle of a writer's strike, so they couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, I blame Ritalin. But yeah, we'll just go with that. So that's it. That's our slate for this month. Well, we've also got a Chuck Norris, the first of our canon specials as well.
Yep.
So September's going to be interesting month. It's going to be, we'll be looking at the missing in action movies and the first of our canon specials, because they're quite important to Chuck Norris and
talk about
canon movies. I know. Yeah. I'll just let that one sit there from Not My Monkey. You got to join us for that show. You guys are so organised. You think so, and then you see that I keep pushing things back and cancelling things. But yeah, we are organised we've got everything organised into October. I can even tell you what we're doing in October-wise, guys. We're doing the 4th episode of our EC Tales, where we're going to be talking about 3 EC stories, comparing the comic book versions to the HBO TV show versions. So we've got one of those lined up for October because, Halloween, why not? And we're also going to be doing vampires from 1970s that aren't Dracula. So we'll be talking about Count Yorga, that chap off the Dark Shadows, and Blackula. So we've got an episode that's going to be fun. We've got that episode there. And we'll probably squeeze. Yeah, we will squeeze. We're going to squeeze the full moon in at the start of October, the ranking show for full moon movies. So that's our. Yeah, we're actually we're well organised. Not bad. Right. Okay then, guys. Thanks for joining us. I hope Hyper Kaiju. I hope it is fun. We have fun anyway. So thanks for joining us and everybody else in the chat. And that was. Batman. See, when you were a wee kid, did you just run around saying, "I'm Batman" after watching this movie?
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I think, you know what? I think there were so many movies that were happening at that point. I didn't focus on this until I got the VHS, and then I watched it like 10 times in a row.
And then you started running about going, I'm Batman.
Oh yeah, jumping off, like tying a towel to my neck and jumping off the countertops and stuff. And
Brilliant.
I'm sure my mom appreciated that.
Brilliant. Right. Well, cheers, guys. We'll hopefully see you on Tuesday night at 10 o'clock, and back here next Thursday for the super cut of The Evil Dead. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
You have seen this incident based on sworn testimony. Can you prove that it didn't happen? Perhaps on your way home, someone will pass you in the dark, and you will never know it, for they will be from outer space. Many scientists believe that another world is watching us this moment. We once laughed at the horseless carriage, the airplane, the telephone, the electric light, vitamins, radio, and even television. And now some of us laugh at outer space.